like the idea of recycling those vaccines that are just put on the shelf that were failed. But I think when they are recycled, like, with who did they fail? Like, are we just talking about those people who are privileged enough to live around like a university hospital where this phase 1 trial was conducted? Or are we talking about the people that were out in the burbs, spread out away from those university hospitals? Because again, I mean, I'm fully convinced it's not just the genetics that make us, have the skin color or whatever we have, but it's a combination of that and the environments that we live in. And we don't know what combo of that causes cancer in some people and not in others. And since we don't know that, let's just scoop everybody up together. How are you diversifying the access to these vaccines?
Just in everything that you're saying, I'm following you because that is the question. And honestly, we already know the answer. You know what I mean?
We
But
do.
that's not going to be admitted. But how about let's start over and do it correct this time? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, make
Because
a
that's
U-turn,
make a U-turn
go back to the
and
start.
go back and start
Yeah.
doing and start over by
Yes.
going into the communities and saying, thank you for being patient with us. Even though we're not going to apologize, thank you for being patient. We want to start over. You know what I'm saying? Because
Right.
it's all about um grace. You know what
Yes.
I mean? Because we are still here and we want to survive. We're delayed, we're not denied.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, we're always delayed.
Yeah.
And in regards to these prevention vaccines, I'm all for that. However, are there any long-term side effects that you're not telling us? Because the thing is, in regards to me as a patient,
Yeah.
I deal with the long-term side effects of the standard of care.
Yeah.
And, with that being said, that was never discussed with me. That was never
Mhm.
discussed with me. And so, what I have to live every day is preparing for what my body might do. And so, and being prepared for what I have to do when my body does what I don't want it to do. You know what I'm saying? Retraining my brain to work with my body.
And just like she said that in the beginning, that prevention doesn't get the attention that it deserves, the side effects and long term, like you were talking about, Karla, those don't get the attention that they deserve. They really don't. They kind of get swept under the rug. I think it comes down to we got to do it right the first time. Do that U-turn, broaden the net, and let's see what comes out of it in all respects, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Let's look at all buckets with as much importance as just the good.
And that's so real because this is a person.
Yes, a human. It's a
This is a human
human.
being. I love this platform, San Antonio Breast Cancer Symposium, but we got to get to the nitty gritty.
Yeah, the
There's side
people
effects,
experience.
the
Yes.
people experience. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
and
There's
not
side
invalidate it as it sounds like what happened to you. Like you were telling them honestly what your experience was, and instead of listening and writing it down, they were telling you, "Oh, you just need to be stronger and push through." But how much stronger does a person need to be to endure everything that you went through and still have a smile on your face like you do And to honestly, like, I work in clinical trials. Usually patients don't want to tell you the truth. And usually they don't want to tell the truth because they're either afraid of disappointing a doctor that they really have come to respect, and if I say anything then they'll be disappointed, or B, they're worried about exactly the experience you had when you shared. And that's neither of those scenarios is good enough for what we're trying to achieve, especially if we're trying to achieve prevention. There needs to be more than an open door communication policy. I mean, all the windows, the chimney flue, every, like, the whole house needs to be open for communication, because otherwise you may miss key pieces of information that, outside of you looking at your biomarkers and such under a microscope and saying, this is what happened to the tumor, how come I can't get people to take this preventative drug? Oh, it's because the people that have taken it have reported, A through M of side effects that just impact quality of life to the point, like, why bother? I don't care that my tumor shrunk by, that much. I care that I can't pick up my child anymore, or I can't get down on the floor and play with them. I mean, I can get down there, but I can't get up without any help, or I can't go on walks with them because if I trip and fall, that's a broken bone because my bones are so brittle from the medicate. Like, they're missing key pieces of information that would give them that holistic point of view. And so, yes, prevention, it all sounds great, but the net needs to be so much wider
Right.
than probably where it has been traditionally and historically. I mean, there's just so many different diseases that express themselves differently based off of our race, that if the disease is smart enough to do that, why can't the people who test the vaccines be smart enough to test it across the different ethnicities as well? Like, the idea of preventing breast cancer to begin with, especially for those people who get their genetic testing and they carry a gene for it. Yes. Yeah. Shoot me up, give me that vaccine. But before you put that needle in my arm, can you tell me what all of the long-term side effects are, so I can make an educated decision as to what's going to go into my body?
Right. Right. My choice to make that educated decision.
I was a little bummed out, though, that the rate of the drugs that they were testing at phase 1 was lower for them getting to phase 3 than any other drug. Like, in looking at her slides and
her vaccines.
Yeah, that bums me out. But at least we know the ones that are making it through are like powerhouse vaccines.
Yeah.
Like, there's no cancer cell that will escape their clutches. University of Pittsburgh, because I went to another conference earlier this year, that they were all over the place. And one of the things that they do really well is all throughout the state of Pennsylvania, they have these university hospital hubs where not only the healthcare, but the clinical trials that they're doing are offered through those hubs. And it almost covers the entire state of Pennsylvania. Like, I have it on my to-do list to talk to the speaker that was talking about that, because I want that for North Carolina and Georgia and South Carolina. Like, every state should have where, like, because here we have Duke. They do a lot of research. It's great, but how did you get the University of Pittsburgh to put into their heads that we need to diversify to the point where they're investing money in standalone buildings that are in these other underserved areas. Very few view clinical trials as a two-way educational street. It's not just the scientist slash doctor educating the patient slash participant on this is what's going to happen. But in return for their participation, you're learning. So if you're willing to, you're learning so much information from that person as to how that drug is affecting them, or how that device you just implanted into their body is actually working out for them. And oh my gosh, that would be a conference that I would just be at every session, even if I wasn't interested in the topic, just to hear the patient experience, because that part I definitely am interested in. That would be amazing.
It keeps the scientists on their toes, like, okay, no, yeah, that sounds good, but whoa, wait a minute, like, hold on, think about it again, go back, redo, over, okay,
And maybe those standards aren't just for the ones that have a good story to tell. I want to hear again from the good, the bad, and the ugly. Like, especially from that ugly. Tell me all about it. So when I hear from the good, I'm weighing and I'm looking, okay, but you're this age and the good is that age, and you're this ethnicity, and the, like, really? Oh my gosh. That would be phenomenal.